Yeah, I think what we've heard so far is absolutely correct, that this is more like a 9/11 feel because the demand-induced shock is not really related to economics right now. The hope, of course, is that that can reverse once we get a bigger clarity or greater clarity in the Western countries what Corona actually will do. But I would agree that this demand shock is very difficult on the airlines because there's really nothing you can do. You cannot lower prices to stimulate demand at this point in time. And so what airlines will do is drastically reduce schedules, start cost restructuring measures, and then of course you're looking at who is levered in what way. And there, Alexander just said it, most European airlines, the big ones, are below 2 times net debt EBITDA right now, which actually isn't the worst position to go into a downturn for an airline. Right? So I wouldn't yet agree that airlines need to be rescued in the near future. But if this drags on, of course, that becomes a higher likelihood.
Daniel, can I just take the focus to the workforce at this point, because we've seen some layoffs or a number of staff being sidelined, and we know what's played out here in Europe over the last couple of years, fight with different unions on conditions for those workers. How much more flexible is the workforce for some of these legacy European carriers versus what they may have been back in 9/11?
Well, I think from a contractual point of view, it's not more flexible, right? But what you see airlines doing is going out asking labor for basically unpaid leave. I think you'll see a greater willingness on the union, on the labor side, to help airlines in this situation, because since then, basically 20 years on, right, unions have come to understand a lot more around the economics of the airlines, have been through those discussions multiple times. And so from my own experience with the unions, I think there will be discussions going on right now, starting now, how labor can support the airlines, basically flex the costs a little bit more.
Daniel, I wanted to ask you specifically about the difference between the types of carrier and what the implications may be for those different businesses. Obviously, we've got some state-supported airlines that continue to operate. We have the budget carriers, and then we have the traditional flag carriers, as we've described them. As you look at the opportunity to continue to register bookings and provide incentives and perhaps non-flight related revenue streams, who can weather this better?
Yeah, I think the groups you identified are exactly right. I think the first thing I'd point out is that for low-cost airlines, remember, most of the tickets are non-refundable. And so as long as those airlines do not agree to hand tickets back, actually the revenues for the next 2-3 months will not be catastrophic, simply because they already have an advanced booking load factor of probably 75, 80, 85% for the likes of Ryanair and EasyJet. You also saw that with Ryanair, where they actually went ahead and canceled flights, but they canceled flights 2-3 weeks out in order to avoid the EU 261 regulation at that point. So I think low-cost airlines for the next few weeks are actually not okay, but not as impacted, right? You've got the legacies who are seeing corporate travel just diminishing by the minute, and that is going to be really difficult. But again, the financial strength of those airlines is significantly better. The state-owned carriers, or let's say the next group there you mentioned, something like Alitalia, something like TAP, I'll put Norwegian in there as well, because it's really about the leverage those airlines have, and the leverage doesn't look good, right? Those airlines frequently have a leverage above 5, 6, 7, or 8 in terms of net debt EBITDA, and so if demand drops out, but they need to continue paying staff, those airlines will need to start looking for financing pretty soon.
Hi, I'm Joanna Bersecci, and thank you for watching. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more from CNBC International. Thank you for watching.